Okay, so in this video, I want to carry on talking about social theory. The last, you'll recall that there are three major sociological theories to be discussed in this chapter, two of which are considered large process theories, and that is functional theory, which we talked about in the previous video, and that's the one that takes the analogy or the metaphor of the human body, and the society is all of these different organizations or organisms, and they all work together, and as long as everybody's doing their part, society runs smoothly. And the second one, which is generally considered Karl Marx's theory, and that, or he's the father of this theory, the sort of the crafter, if you will, is conflict theory. And conflict theory argues that all social groups, so within any social group, there is competition over resources. And whoever has the most power basically gets their way. Society, our larger sort of society, is most simply broken up, is most simply represented by the triangle, where you have a whole lot of people at the bottom, and they're at the bottom because they have less power and less resources. At the top are the people who have more resources and more power. And inherently, there is going to be a competition between the people at the top and the people at the bottom, right? There is this ongoing competition. Now, one of the things that you may hear about in the video, lecture is they talk about something called thesis and antithesis. And what this means is that at any given time, the system, there's always going to be this competition. But from time to time, people or groups will decide that they have had enough. And this is what they call like the antithesis. Thesis is when everybody is just getting along just fine. But antithesis comes when the people at the bottom have decided this enough is enough, and we are tired of being we are tired of not having all the power, and they organize themselves. But in order for this to happen, one of the things that Marx talks about is the concept of class consciousness. And class consciousness is when I become aware, consciously aware that, hey, wait a second, look at where I'm at in the relative distribution of power, and look who's here with me. So I become consciously aware of my relative social location, and I notice that there's a whole bunch of us who just got laid off, or there's a whole bunch of us who get treated like crap. And the people at the top, they're the ones who are treating us like crap. And so we developed, so with this collective class consciousness, we decided we have had enough. And we organize ourselves and we act collectively, right? We act collectively because notice, there are a lot more people at the bottom than there are at the top, right? You can use, and you can pretty much see this in any organization. You can see that there are a whole lot of minions, a whole lot of people doing the work, and a really small number of people making the decisions, telling us about how things are. What would happen if all of the people decided, you ain't going to tell us what to do anymore, and we acted collectively? Well, maybe we could break into buildings. Maybe we could go on strike and shut down, and we could stop trash collection in the city of New Orleans. Maybe we could get someone's attention if we all acted collectively, because after all, there's more of us. For instance, if I was in a traditional classroom and I have had, the course of my career, I've had as many as 209 students and one me. Sometimes if I'm lucky, I have two. Sometimes I'll have a teaching assistant, right? All 209 students, if they all decided to walk out, what could I do about it? Well, next to nothing, right? Or even if I have a class of 10 students and one me, right? Conflict theory argues that there's always going to be this competition. And when the people at the top start noticing, wait a second, there's only a couple of us and a whole bunch of them, then they will change the rules effectively. That's what he referred to as the antithesis. when this competition, they don't say it in the video, but it's effectively when the competition becomes visual, right? Becomes obvious, and there is movement to shake things up, because according to conflict theory, things are always in flux. There's always going to be this competition. And it also acknowledges that the reason these people, and this is something that, you know, this is something that we don't often hear about, but the reason these people have the ability to control us is because we give them the ability to control us, right? So if I am in a classroom and my students let me tell them what they, they let me tell them what to do, right? They let me give them assignments that if they acted collectively, they could create change. But here's the thing. If only one of them acts, you know, if only one of them says, lady, you're crazy, we're not doing what you say, I can dismiss that one student, right? And this is where it'll spill over into the chapter on deviance, because when one person decides that they're going to walk out on class, well, I can use that one person as an example, right? I can hold them up as, you know, like, you don't want to act like that. But there has to be a critical mass, right? And that's sort of a, that people, that all the people at the bottom have to act together and agree, right? And agree that the folks at the top, you know, we have to, yeah, I hope that makes some sense. I just keep drawing all these parallels to the stuff that we've seen in Washington, because you could make an argument, right? Conflict theory could argue that all of those angry people that showed up, you know, to march on the Capitol building, that's an example of the masses at the bottom acting collectively. And while there is some truth to that, their numbers from a larger societal perspective is really, really quite small. Now, it is true there were more of them on the outside of the building than on the inside of the building, and so this model would apply. And it will be true that the people at the top, the few people on the inside of that building, they're going to change the rules so that that doesn't happen. But I don't think we can make an argument that it was truly a societal wide, that there was that the mass that we saw would be considered a critical mass and lead to radical social change. What we did see is that there were more people outside, literally outside the building, than there were inside the building. And it is true that the people inside the building had more power, but and so therefore the less powerful, and what I mean by here, I'm meaning like, you know, political power and decision-making power, they had more power, and so they did get their way. But when we're talking about societal numbers, I hope that makes some sense, right? And so conflict theory, and then but you can also see these models in terms of labor unions. When labor unions go on strike, right? The idea, and I think that's discussed in the video, is that one of the things that conflict theory acknowledges is the people up here, like the factory workers. Now, conflict theory argues that there are basically two social classes. There are the people that, I shouldn't actually have bothered with this for these videos, should I? That there are the people that own the factories, and then there are the people that work in the factories, right? And so the owners, the people at the top, they depend on all the workers coming to work in their factory. That's the only way that they make any money, right? And so there is this mutual dependency between the powerful and the powerless. The same way I would use in my classroom example, that yeah, the teacher, you know, I get to make the rules. I'm the teacher, but I am dependent on my students to follow the rules and to give me the authority to make the rules in order for that system to work. And it sort of goes back and forth. So anyway, you can see this when you look at your kids, right? Who has, yeah, you know, and the kids are constantly vying, they're constantly negotiating for power, your time, your attention, your money, the rules. And maybe, I don't have any siblings, so I don't know if this is true, but maybe you can even see it between siblings, right? Who gets to decide, who gets to influence the parents. And I think I'm just going to stop right there. That wraps up the lecture on conflict theory.